Be anxious for nothing, but in everything by prayer and pleading with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known to God. And the peace of God, which surpasses all comprehension, will guard your hearts and minds in Yeshua, the Messiah. Well, here we are, Friday. For most folks, the work week is winding down. Maybe you're looking forward to sleeping in tomorrow on Shabbat, getting a few things done around the house, or just having a little time to breathe. But sometimes Friday doesn't feel much different from Monday. You can finish the work week and still carry the whole thing home with you. The conversation that bothered you, the bill you're worried about, the decision you don't know how to make, something going on with your family, something you've been praying about that still hasn't changed. You can clock out of work, but that doesn't necessarily mean your mind clocks out with you. And that's where Paul gives us this wonderful little piece of advice. Be anxious for nothing, but in everything, by prayer and pleading with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known to God. Now, I don't think Paul is telling us that we're never going to feel anxious. We're human beings, things happen, and we worry. I think he's telling us what to do with that worry when it shows up. Take it somewhere. Take it to God. There's a big difference between carrying a problem around in your head all day and carrying that same problem into prayer. One just wears you out. The other puts the problem in the hands of somebody who can actually do something about it. It's a little like riding a bicycle with a heavy backpack. You can do it, but after a while you start feeling every pound of it. Been there and done that, folks. And sometimes that's what worry does. We keep putting things into that backpack. One concern, then another, and pretty soon we're pedaling down the road wondering why we're so exhausted. Paul says, let your requests be made known to God. In other words, take the backpack off. Tell him what's in it. Tell him what you're worried about. Tell him what you're afraid of. And tell him what you don't understand. Notice that Paul says to do it with thanksgiving. Now that's the part that really catches my attention. We're not only bringing God the problem, we're remembering who we're bringing it to. Lord, I don't know how this is going to work out, but I'm thankful you're here. I don't know what tomorrow looks like, but I'm thankful that you already know. I don't know what to do about this situation, but I'm thankful I don't have to face it alone. That's a different way of looking at prayer. You're not pretending the problem isn't there. You're simply refusing to let the problem become bigger than God. And then Paul gives us the promise. And the peace of God, which surpasses all comprehension, will guard your hearts and minds in Yeshua, the Messiah. I like that word, guard. Peace isn't always about making the storm disappear. Sometimes God gives you peace while the storm is still going on. The circumstances may not have changed. The answer may not have arrived. But somehow, you're not being swallowed up by it anymore. It's like riding through a stretch of road where the wind is blowing hard against you. You still have to pedal. The wind is still there. But now you're not fighting it alone. And you discover that you can keep moving even when the conditions aren't what you wanted. So as we finish this work week, maybe that's the thing to do. Before you carry all this week's worries into the weekend, stop for a minute. Take them to God. Name them. Be honest about them. And then thank Him for what you already know to be true. You may not know what tomorrow holds, but He does. You may not know how the situation is going to turn out, but He does. And you don't have to solve your entire life tonight. Sometimes the faithful thing to do is simply put the problem down and trust God with it. So take the backpack off. Let your shoulders drop. Take a breath. And remember what Paul said. Be anxious for nothing, but in everything by prayer and pleading with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known to God. And then keep pedaling. Not because everything has been figured out, but because you know who you're trusting with it. Thank you for joining me here today, my friends and family, and anyone else that might be riding along and listening on this Friday morning. I hope you had a productive and prosperous work week, and here's to hoping that you have a restful and rejuvenating Shabbat. I hope to see you here again Sunday morning to start off the week with a little of the Word. And until then, Abba willing, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom.